Turn it up.
From the YBA Phoenix Fitness 24/7 basketball facility in Rockland, California, it's Coach's Rize Time with Coach C. Collins.
Get it started. 3, 2, 1.
Coach's Rize Time.
Hey, how you doing? You back? Coach's Rize Time. Talk a little bit of basketball. Obviously, I give my take on some topics on what's going on. Thank you for listening. Thank you for checking it out. Whether you're on the audio side, the YouTube side, appreciate you being here, taking the time to check me out. Thanks for taking the time to watch. If you're ghost watching, that's fine as well. Just enjoy the show. Hopefully, I give you some tidbits you like. Either way, hit that like, subscribe button. Appreciate you helping me out. My sponsors will be in the links in the description and some of the things I talk about in these topics. Today's topic, getting right to it, I wanted to discuss how much should a kid really train? Like, how much should he train and practice, right? The average, talking about just high school in general, the average high school practice is, 5 to 6 days a week, 2 hours at a time. And obviously in college, especially D1s, that can be much more. It can be, 4 hours in a day, 6 hours in a day at times. Typically doesn't drag on like that into season, but for sure, in the early, everyone knows, especially athletes, high school athletes, collegiate athletes, pro athletes, you have your summer camps, your conditioning times, your dead periods, all that good stuff. So I get this question asked, like, how often should a kid practice? How often should he train? How many shots should he get up? And I don't necessarily have a one-size-fits-all answer. What I do have is you have to ask yourself, in my opinion, a series of multivariate questions. But before we get into that more, I did want to talk about I went to the Golden State game, the first finals game yesterday in Oakland, and that was a lot of fun. Shout out to my boy, Mr. Fab. Me and him went to high school together, saw him there. E40 was there, Jay-Z was there, Barry Bonds was there. The arena looked amazing. That was actually my first time in the San Francisco Chase Arena. I'm an Oakland kid. I always went to the old school one. So, really, really cool layout, great restaurants, just a really cool vibe and feel. Unfortunately, we lost, and we get more into that later on another episode because I can talk about that loss all day and my thoughts on it. What I will say, what I really enjoyed, I was watching Steve Kerr and how he interacted with his team and the players. It's so interesting watching coaches work. I was looking at more of the details and things like that rather than just the game. It was very fascinating, and I was able to learn actually quite a bit, just how they interacted, how they talked, the coaching staffs, the length of timeouts, the way the officials moved and communicated very professionally. It is definitely, you get the atmosphere of why it's the highest paid basketball atmosphere, and it's a professional level. It's actually very cool and interesting. I wish we could do more at the grassroots level to simulate at least that level of professionalism. But of course, it's just, they have millions of dollars. It's a business. It's a brand. Obviously, that's just going to be a totally different animal than what we do here at the grassroots level. But it was a phenomenal experience. My guy, Carlos, Cardell's dad took me out there, Cardell, one of my 7th grade players. We just had an amazing time. It really was a great time and a great experience. I definitely feel very blessed to have had that opportunity to be a part of a finals game in general, and let alone in my hometown. I never thought I'd see the Warriors become a dynasty in my lifetime because I've been a fan ever since they sucked. So I'm very grateful for that fact. But just wanted to get all that out the way and move on. So when we think about kids that need to practice, I generally say a rule of thumb. Something I found very interesting, Coach Ted told me about this. I can't remember exactly what coach he mentioned that does this, but I want to say maybe Tom Izzo, but I could be wrong. There was a college coach, or it was a college or high school coach, that literally would practice the amount of time that would be in the game. So in a high school game, at least in our area, it's 7-minute quarters, 4 quarters, obviously. So 7 times 4, 28, right? So he would actually only practice 28 minutes. 28 minutes, 28 to maybe 30 minutes. Obviously, there's going to be some brief talking. So let's just say 28 on a grace period of 35. And he said, why practice all this extra time? We don't. And funny enough, this coach went on to have a lot of success. I don't know if that same coach did that same formula now speaking. I'm just saying someone thought outside the box that way. You circle that back to how much should kids train and practice and things, how many shots they should get up. I don't really have, again, like I said, a definitive answer. These are the three questions I say you ask yourself: the dedication of the athlete, their age, and how much can their body take. The amount of length and time I would have a 26-year-old fresh out of college trying to go to the G League or overseas, or even getting ready for, let's say, an NBA combine or, Pro Am League. Yeah, I'm going to say your workout regimen needs to be 2 to 3 times in a day, 2 hours to 3 hours at a time, working different parts, whether it be stretching, strength, athleticism, plyometrics, weightlifting, swimming, and then getting, hundreds, if not damn near to 1,000 shots up. But I'm not going to use that same regimen for a 6-year-old that I'm training who's just learning how to dribble and learning how to move and function. I might say you only need to spend about an hour a day, and that's it. The rest of the time, just shoot around, get comfortable with your body, move around, things like that. So that's my take on it. Feel free, trainers, coaches, people who work with kids on that, leave comments. Tell me if you have something different. But that's overall what I would say is my rule of thumb. Ask those 3 questions, and you'll kind of go to the answer from there. One I also wanted to talk about, there's a YouTuber I really enjoy watching. He makes great documentaries. I'll probably add him in the description. But it's GMX High Roller, and sorry if I'm butchering your name, brother. But I do think you do an amazing good job. GX My High Roller. He did a great take after this finals game, asking, have 3-pointers ruined the game? And I want to play a little bit of it for you right now. I'm going to play it off my phone, and you guys can, check it out yourself a little bit. I'll obviously play the clip more so on the YouTube side, but this is all more for the audio side. I want you guys to hear a little bit of his analytics, and honestly, he gave me some insight of things I didn't know myself about who invented the 3-point shot, and it's actually perfectly pretty balanced. I'm pretty much in agreement with a lot of what he says. I would love to maybe do a video reaction or show on what he's doing, but it's actually pretty fascinating. I definitely highly suggest everybody go check his analysis out, and I'm going to play just a little bit right now. It's even been people and I've researched this myself, who have mentioned maybe lessening the 3-point shot, making it a 2.5 point shot. So, but I'll play a little bit, and you guys tell me what you think.
If a team isn't efficient at shooting threes, then 3-pointers won't provide an unfair advantage. If a team is good at shooting threes, they end up getting easier shots from everywhere else on the court, which results in that team being less reliant on the 3 ball. Regardless of how you get there, it really all boils down to one thing: shot value. For the majority of the last 30 years, the value of an average NBA shot has virtually remained exactly the same. 1. As in 1 point per shot attempt. And throughout the last 3 decades, the average 3-point attempt did yield teams a more productive result. 3-pointers on average being worth 1.03 points per shot attempt, and 2-pointers being worth 0.96 points per shot attempt. This is why many people believe the 3-point shot provided an unfair advantage. It is simply too valuable in comparison to 2-pointers. And this was the case for a very long time. That is, until the secret got out, teams made adjustments, and this happened. For the first time since the 3-pointer was introduced to the NBA, the 2-point shot has become just as valuable as the 3-pointer. And this season, for the first time ever, the 2-point shot actually became more valuable than the 3-point shot. Somehow, as the league was in a mad scramble to see who could sink the most threes, they inadvertently turned 2-pointers into the most valuable shot in basketball. But let's say we nerfed the 3-point shots and made it worth just 2.5 points. Well, then this graph would look like this. And instead of being a weapon teams can use to balance their offense and keep the defense honest, the 3-point shot virtually becomes obsolete. The risk of taking it would far outweigh the reward. Abe Saperstein and Ray Meyer, they were right all along. They may not have known it at the time, but they were right. This arbitrarily length shot added to the game 70 years after its inception is somehow right where it needs to be and worth exactly as many points as it should be.
So yeah, you guys heard that. You guys heard who the inventor of the 3-point shots were. And I definitely suggest you guys check this guy out. He does a phenomenal job on his docuseries, analyzing the game. I hope I could work with the man one day because he really does some great stuff. So that's definitely another interesting thing I would love for you guys to comment on. Has the 3-point shot and the fascination with it and the love for it, the Steph Curry effect, as you will, has it changed the game to the point where it's making an unfair advantage, or, where teams that are clearly better don't get to dominate like they should, because basically, teams start getting hot from 3 and it just kind of equals it out, or sometimes can even take over a game. It's very interesting to see, because that Boston and Golden State game, Boston just hit some huge clutch threes and some big shots, which obviously catapult them. Al Horford definitely was the catalyst in making that effect take over for the win of that game. So these are just all some interesting topics and things I wanted to talk about. But the real thing I really wanted to get across was, for my suggestion to parents, players out there who listen, coaches who might have this question, or just might want a different take on it. Kids should work out, train. In my opinion, at least 30 minutes to 30 minutes to hour and a half, 2 hours at the most a day. And we're talking mainly for the youth side. But obviously, if you're dealing with pro athletes, collegiate athletes, things like that, then it varies. But like I said, ask yourself those 3 questions. I think you'll overall get the answer you're looking for, and it'll probably make sense in that regard. But it's to each its own. I don't have a definitive yes, do it this way, no, do it this way, yes, do it this way. I will include a link to another YouTube channel that I kind of check out, and they have some good takes too. It's called a channel Deep Game. He's another trainer that talks deep analysis of basketball, of the game, and things like that. You guys can check him out and figure it out for yourselves. But I highly suggest every kid just get the hell out there and dribble a ball, do something to get better every day, and you'll be on the right path as far as where you need to go. That's pretty much all it takes for that. With that being said, I appreciate you sticking around to the end. Again, hit that like, subscribe, hit the Patreon if you want to support, and check out the main show, About That Life podcast. Everybody, be safe, live your life, be happy. Still a lot of craziness going on. Unfortunately, shootings and reform to gun laws need to be happening out there, but just try to protect yourselves. This is part of the reason why I try to put this information out there, because there might be someone out there that needs to hear this. You are valuable, you are important, and you all need to take care of those who are around you and loved ones. Just be safe. Do the HBO special, help a brother out, like, share, subscribe, and I think I've said my piece for the day. And until next time, I'm out.